everybody, it's Sunday, and we are back on this couch to review another thing on Netflix.
It's like we do other things with our lives, I swear.
No.
Okay, we don't do other things with our lives. I was gonna lie to them.
This time it's not a Netflix original movie, it's a movie from the BBC, which means everyone has weird accents that Mallory couldn't understand sometimes.
Only once.
And
it's not a weird accent.
Yeah, they say we and Lou, and it just really tickled Mallory.
That's true. That is definitely true. I like the idea that British people can just use the word we in common conversation.
Because she didn't have we on her hands.
Mm-hmm.
But spoilers for Man Up the movie.
It follows a 34-year-old woman named Nancy whose life kind of sucks. And it's basically follows this crazy journey where she is gifted a book by a slightly annoying woman on a train. And then the reason that the woman had the book is because that's how she was going to find her blind date.
Because they were both gonna
hold the book. How cute. And so when Nancy gets off the train with the book that the woman has left for her, the blind date, who is Simon Pegg, but a character named Jack,
it's like, hey, it's you. What's up? How's it going? I blabber a lot because this is my personality. Maybe we should just kiss. Oh, no, okay. Let's go to the bar. And they leave.
And she's like, okay. And then he's like, so Jessica? And she's like, Jessica, yeah.
I'm Jessica.
And it gets wild immediately.
He thinks she's a 24-year-old triathlete.
Who works in the city.
And, like, in reality, we know, and then later he finds out, he would hate regular Jessica.
Yeah.
Because he really likes Nancy. She's cool.
Yeah, because the best time that they have is when they go bowling, which Nancy actually enjoys.
My guess is Jessica also does.
Mm-hmm.
Because for some reason, Jack knows everything about Jessica. Tom, who hooked them up on a date, who we never see or hear, is just really Sherry.
I really feel very strongly that he knows an awful lot about this person he's going on a blind date with. Because I always thought that... I mean, does blind date just mean you've never seen them? I always thought that blind date...
being blind means.
Right.
You can't see. You can hear.
I mean, I know that.
And smell and talk. He could have smelt her before. It would still be a blind date if he was going to see her.
But I just feel like often it's a little bit like, I have this friend that I think you would really like. Let me set you up on a date.
Those dinner dates where it's in like the black is technically a blind date.
That's true.
Even though you could like, and like sometimes they do.
But he does know a lot about Jessica.
They just like clearly.
I guess we assume that Jessica knows a lot about Jack, although when they, spoilers, eventually do like go out together, she doesn't really say that much about him.
She knows a lot of fake stuff, like she thinks he read this book that we're supposed to use to meet up, but he has not read it.
It was
wild.
Yeah, wild. Like, immediately wild. First off, it starts off with her lying about who she is, and them going off to a bar, and her just, like, building and building and building this lie.
There's a dance break and a sing-along.
Yeah, that's true.
And a fire.
Yep.
And everything connects.
They go to a bar in the beginning, and they drink, and she's still pretending to be Jessica, and she has this moment where she's like, I'm gonna tell him the truth. And then he's like, I have to tell you something. I'm gonna go first. I lied about knowing who your favorite band was.
Which wasn't her favorite band, it was a to-do list note.
Yeah.
It was Black Jean Wash.
Black Pant Wash. Oh, it has suddenly occurred to me that pants in the UK is underwear.
Yeah.
It was wash your underwear. Wash your black underwear. Or wash your underwear in black. I don't know. It was Black Pant Wash.
She might have just meant, like, the pants she was wearing. She does say dud.
She does say pants later.
Yeah.
For the guy who's in his underwear.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
But, like, yeah.
And then he confesses this, and she suddenly decides that she can't be honest with a guy who is honest, because that's the way film logic works.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, let's get out of here. Let's go bowling. So they go bowling, and she's really good at bowling.
They have a sexy
and they're doing
bowling
a lot
montage.
of sexy bowling. Like crawling on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cuddling.
yeah, and cuddling and holding some bowling balls. And
He was doing that.
Yeah,
he
that's
wasn't
true.
as sexy at the bowling.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Simon Pegg was pretty attractive in this film.
You right.
And
There's a guy at the... Okay, so here's the thing, is every wild thing that happens in this movie then comes up later.
Yeah.
So, like, in a microcosm, they're later in the film on a weird, like, double date moment with Jack's ex-wife
Hillary,
and her current man.
who she left Jack for. Like, they were having an affair, and then she left Jack.
And
That is
Nancy
at the bar,
from earlier.
because that's why Jack was going to bring Jessica there, is because he was hoping that his ex-wife would show up, and he could be like,
Wow.
this is my 24-year-old girlfriend.
And then he was like, never mind, this is a bad idea. But anyway, not the point. The point is that she, like, throwaway says that she's a firewoman, and then later the man catches on fire, and they're like, you're a firewoman, put him out. And it's just like, wow, I thought that firewoman line was just a weird, throwaway, funny comment. But nope, like, it all circles
Everything does come back.
back. Including this guy, Sean.
So, in the bowling alley is a gentleman named Sean, who apparently went to high school, right? Secondary school.
School.
Yeah. Went to school with Nancy.
And is obsessed with her.
yeah, to the point where he recognizes her immediately, can list all of the things that they used to do together, and also has a photo of her. And she's like, that's me in my room. I don't remember you ever being in my room.
And he was like, oh, I wasn't in your room. I was outside the window.
Because that's not creepy. And so he's going to blow it. He's going to tell Jack that she's Nancy.
Unless she blows it.
Correct.
I just
And-
tried to wink, but I went.
And so she agrees to kiss him, meets in the bathroom, and is in there, I guess, they have, like, the most awkward
Almost
scene.
kiss.
Yeah, ever.
And then Jack comes in because...
That's normal. That's what I do when my dates don't return
Listen, it's
from the
Europe.
restroom fast enough. I just go after them. So he comes in, catches that, and then he's upset. And then Sean blows it anyway and says, Nancy! And he finds out, and he gets angry, and he storms off. And she
And
tries to
then-
catch him. And then they're getting their stuff back at the coat check and realize that they left his bag at the bar, which has her notebook in it, which relates to a side plot that it is her parents' 40th wedding anniversary, and her speech that she's going to give is in there.
So then they have a race where he's in a cab and she does a triathlon.
She runs, and then she swims through a sea of women, and then she bikes, and they reach the bar at the same time. And when they get there is when they have then the encounter with the ex, because she's there.
And then they're laughing about how the guy was on fire and she sprayed him with the fire extinguisher. And that dance sequence we talked about earlier is also in that bar scene, as well as, like, them being vulnerable with each other and, like, sort of making up for the lie thing.
It's really cute. And then she's like, you know what? You should go on that date with that lady. That's what you were meant to do.
Turns on his phone. They turn them off at one point, and he turns on his phone and he has a bunch of calls from Jessica.
And she's like, you should go. And he says, you're right, I will go. And it's clear that, like, she doesn't want him to go, and also he doesn't really want to go. But they're both, like, trying to be like, yeah, this is best. So they go their separate ways. She gets to her parents' 40th. She arrives with the chocolate mousse she was supposed to bring. And then just, like...
She's like, I brought the moose.
And then just breaks down crying. And then sort of mumbles words.
While going like this.
Yeah. a very enjoyable scene where her sister, her brother-in-law, and her parents are standing around her, where she's like, and they're like, a man? Did she say a man? Yeah, she's back on the phone. Did it go badly?
No, it was great. And they're like, great.
That's good.
No. Oh, it's not great.
Meanwhile, Jack goes out with Jessica, realizes what we already knew.
Which is that they're
They
bad
don't
for each
work.
other. But Jessica is like, oh, you found a girl like that from what a crazy story. And you like her, you must go.
Yeah, Jessica is very encouraging. Like, she gave the book to Nancy.
She's 24,
at the beginning.
you know?
Yep, she's still optimistic.
It's that Garfunkel and Oates song, 25,
Oh, yeah.
30, or 25, 35.
I think it is 25-35.
Otherwise known as Megan and Mallory.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I'm
We're not
optimistic
quite
and
that.
in love.
Mm.
Mallory.
And I'm bitter and
unemployed.
true.
Yeah.
And Jessica's very encouraging.
Jessica.
Sends him in a cab. Only he realizes that he doesn't know where Nancy lives, or her phone number, or
She doesn't have Facebook.
she doesn't have Facebook.
But he does know that Sean knows where her parents live.
Well, he knows that Sean knows her. So he gets
He
the
was there
bowling
for the
alley.
picture encounter.
No, he wasn't.
Oh.
So he gets to the bowling alley, and he's like, Sean, you know Nancy's full name? And he's like, yes. Do you know where she lives? I need to find her. And he goes, I have the exact Google Maps coordinates. And he shoots this pool ball crazy off of the pool table, tosses his keys in the air, catches it, and then a
Epic
power
music
ballad
starts
starts
to play.
playing. And they drive like crazy people.
There's a under the car shot.
Yeah. To get there. And he says, there she is, number 74. And then you cut back into the house. And, like, he goes up and he rings the doorbell. You cut back into the 40th. The doorbell rings, the door opens. And Nancy goes, what are you doing here? And if this was on television, that's where you'd have a commercial break.
But instead, it's not. And Jack has the door open for him, and it's a party of crazy teens who are like, are you the stripper? And bring him inside. And it's Sean at Nancy's door.
Yep. And she just doesn't know what to say. And her family's like,
Oh,
is this the guy? Yes. And they bring him in.
And he tries to serve her moose.
She just sits like this.
And he's like, for a while.
And her parents just, I mean, maybe they're just used to that being her expression.
They, like, react a little bit near the end. Meanwhile, at the party of teens.
Jack goes in and says, is talking to the girls who brought him in, has clearly conveyed that he's not the stripper. And is like, I'm looking for Nancy. And the girls are like, Nancy? Nancy? And one girl over goes, I'm Nancy. And this other girl is thrown up in the sink goes, I'm Nancy. And then literally the entire party is like,
I'm Nancy! What's up, Nancy? So today...
And he's like, no, I'm looking for this specific Nancy. She has beautiful hair.
And a good face.
Her
and
parents
he says
live
her
near
full
here.
name.
Yeah.
And someone goes, wait! I know her. She was my babysitter.
And he goes, do you know where she lives? And he says, yes.
And everyone cheers.
Yep. Everyone cheers. And then Jack follows this kid. And then every kid at the party follows them.
I mean, honestly, it's Jack leading for much of the montage.
That's true.
So it's a montage of Nancy sitting and getting pudding put on her face, and
Jack running through the streets being chased by a mob of very drunk teenagers.
But they get there, and it happens, and there's an epic speech, and they're in love, and then they go have sex in the bathroom at this party, and everyone knows that's what they're doing.
At the 40th anniversary of her parents. British people, man.
My British people would not feel good about that.
So the kids are partying in the lawn, the adults are partying in the house. Sean is partying with his free right hand because he's learned to drive with only his left. And Nancy and Jack are partying with each other.
Roll credits.
I'll see you tomorrow.
We didn't say whether we liked this film, anything about it. These videos have become describe the movie. I'll see you tomorrow.